Good evening, students. Today, let us see about the maternal adaptation and maternal assessment. Okay. So let us see the maternal adaptation to the pregnancy. Okay. So in maternal adaptation, we will see the two components, that is the psychological adaptation and the physiological adaptation. Okay. So let us move on with the psychological adaptation. So psychological adaptation. So why the pregnant women sometimes she need to adapt psychologically. So why? Because due to her poor socioeconomic status, poor relationship with the husband, unhappy marriages, and unmarried pregnant mother, previous unsuccessful childbearing experiences, poor environmental or living condition, very dependent women, anxious women, and fear. Okay, so in these situations the mother need to psychologically adapt during the pregnancy. Okay, so let us see the adverse emotional reactions are what happen if she doesn't adapt psychologically. So the adverse reactions are irritability, insomnia, and anxiety states. What happens? She may get irritability, insomnia, lack of sleep, and also anxiety will occur, and anxiety may cause women to be restless, and she often cries readily. So these are the reactions which will takes place during the pregnancy if she doesn't adapt to psychologically. So let us see the maternal assessment. Okay, so how to do a maternal assessment? So in the maternal assessment, the initial assessment are booking visit, that is a registration of the pregnant or the antenatal mother. The second one is a plan and implement the care. Then third one is advise the given relating to nutrition and care of the developing fetal organ. Okay, and also giving the advices regarding the nutrition and also care about the developing fetal organs. The next part is the history taking. So in history taking, what and all you have to collect is social history you have to take, general health history you have to collect, menstrual history. So in menstrual history you have to ask her LMP. So use the Naegele's formula and estimate the date of delivery. The next one is the obstetric history. In obstetric history, what and all you have to take is the past childbearing experiences and also disease conditions, rhesus negative women, repeated spontaneous abortions, that is a miscarriage. So you have to even ask about the whether she is an Rh negative pregnancy or the Rh negative women or not, and also you have to ask her any history of miscarriages and termination of pregnancies, whether she used any history of any MTP kits, and whether she had any history of dilatation and curettage procedures. So next one is a medical history. In medical history you have to ask about the urinary stasis. Okay, so in urinary stasis, which means the urinary retention. Okay, urinary stasis is nothing but the urinary retention. The next one is a deep vein thrombosis. Okay, so deep vein thrombosis is nothing but it is in a condition where the formation of the blood clot in a deep vein, mostly it occurs in the legs of a woman. Okay, the next condition is a hypertension, and whether there is a history of DM, asthma, diabetes mellitus, asthma, epilepsy, any infections, and psychiatric disorders, thyroid disorders. Okay, so in medical history you have to cover all these conditions. Okay, the next one is the family history. So family history also you have to take, whether in family anyone are suffering with this any above medical conditions or not. So let us move on to the physical examination. Okay, so before physical examination, first you have to take her consent and comfort are primary considerations. And next one is the blood investigations and ultrasound investigations. Okay, so let us see the general examination. In general examination, the bladder and the bowel functions may be discussed. Okay, so in general examination, you have to discuss about her bladder and bowel functions, whether it is a normal or or not. Okay, the next one is the dietary advice is very important during the visit, and weight also you have to take, and the blood pressure, BP also you have to check. Okay, and also urinary analysis for any presence of ketones, glucose and proteins. Okay, so the blood tests include ABO blood group and rhesus factor, and CBP, VDRL test, HIV antibodies, CTBT, routine screening for other blood disorders and hepatitis B. Okay, so for any pregnant women you have to cover these investigations. And let us move on to the abdominal examination. Okay, so abdominal examination, the specific aims are to observe the signs of pregnancy, assess the fetal size and growth, auscultate the fetal heart, locate the fetal parts, detect any deviation from the normal. Okay, so before doing the abdominal examination, the main aims are, first of all you have to observe the signs of pregnancy and assess the fetal size and the growth, you also auscultate the fetal heart. Okay, and locate the fetal parts and detect the any deviation from the normal. Okay, so let us see the preparation. So in preparation you have to ask the mother to empty the bladder and expose only the area of the abdomen she need to palpate. Okay, so first is the you have to ask the mother to empty the bladder. Okay, and then you have to expose only the needed part of the abdomen which have to palpate. Okay, then the next one is the women should be lying comfortably with her arms by her sides to relax the abdominal muscles. Okay, then methods, let us see the in which method you have to, what are all the methods you have to use for the abdominal examination. Okay, so first one is the inspection. Okay, so in inspection the size of the uterus. Okay, so first you have to see the size of the uterus, whether it is equal to the gestational or not. Okay, so that you have to see. Okay, the next one is the shape of the uterus. Okay, so in shape of the uterus you have to see if it is a longer then it is a broad, when the lie of the fetus is longitudinal. Okay, so main in shape of the uterus you will see the lie of the fetus. Okay, if it is a very broad it is a longitudinal. Okay, so and also the other lie presentations, other lies are oblique lie and the transverse lie. Okay, that also you have to see. Okay, then the stretch marks from the previous pregnancies. Okay, you can also assess for the any stretch marks from the previous pregnancies, that is linea nigra and stria gravida. Okay, and the scars may indicate the previous obstetric or the abdominal surgery. Okay, so and also you have to inspect for the any abdominal previously she had underwent any abdominal surgeries or not. So palpation. Okay, so in palpation the midwife's hand should be clean and warm. Okay, whenever you are going to do the palpation your hand should be very clean and warm. Okay, then the next point is arms and hands should be relaxed and the pads of the finger used. Okay, so during the palpation you have to relax your arms and always use your finger pads only. The hands are moved smoothly over the abdomen. Okay, so when you are doing the palpation you have to palpate very smoothly and gently over the abdomen. The next one, so during the palpation you have to see the height of the fundus, gestational age. Okay, so in doing the height of the fundus, so we have two methods, that is the inch tape method and the finger method. So in these two methods you can able to say the height of the fundus, whether it is up to the gestational age or not. Then fundal palpation. Okay, so here we'll see the fundal palpation, lateral palpation, pelvic palpation. Okay, so we'll see the three types of palpations in palpation method. Okay, so let us see the fundal palpation. In fundal palpation it determines the presence of the breech or head. Okay, so whenever you are doing the fundal palpation, in fundal palpation you have to see the presence of the fetal head or breech. Okay, so it helps to diagnose a lie in the presentation of the fetus. Okay, so what happens when you see the presentation of the breech, so you can able to say the lie of the fetus. Okay, so the midwife lays both the hands on the sides of the fundus, fingers held close together and curving around the upper border of the uterus. Okay, so what I have to do is you using of finger pads, you have to palpate the palpate on fundus. So on palpating you have to denote the whether it is in a breech or whether it is a head. Okay, so if it is an if you feel very soft mass, it is an a head, and if it is an if it is a hard mass, it is an a head. If it is an a soft mass, it is an a buttocks. Okay, so next one is the lateral palpation. In lateral palpation, this is to locate the fetal back in order to determine the position. The hands are placed on either side of the fetus at the level of the umbilicus. Okay, so in lateral palpation is nothing but the side palpation of the uterus. Okay, so here you will palpate for the presence of any like whether the fetal back. Okay, the gentle pressure is applied with the alternate hands in order to detect the which side of the uterus offers the greater resistance. Okay, so in this lateral palpation, if you denote any continuous smooth resistant mass, it indicates the breech. Okay, so if you denote a very smooth mass, it indicates the breech. Okay, if it is an irregular buds, it indicates the limbs or the shoulders. Okay, if you feel a very continuous mass, it indicates the fetal spine. Okay, so this is how you denoting the fetal parts of the mother. Then in pelvic palpation what happens to identify the pole of the fetus in the pelvis. Okay, so in the pelvic palpation you are seeing the presentation of the fetus. Okay, so what fetus is in the pelvis. Okay, in pelvis whether the pelvis the fetal head is present or the fetal buttocks are present, so that you will identify. Okay, so ask the woman to bend her knee slightly. The sides of the uterus just below the umbilical levels are grasped snugly between the palms of the hands, with the hands close together and pointing towards and inwards. So here what you are doing next, you are seeing the engagement or not. Okay, so if the baby is engaged, okay, whether the baby is engaged or not, you can able to say, okay, by asking the mother to bend her knee slightly. Okay, so this is how you will do the pelvic palpation. Okay, so here you can see, so this is a fundal palpation. Okay, so in fundal palpation, on the fundus you will use your finger pads and you will do the palpation, and you will denote whether if you feel like a hard mass, it indicates head. If you feel a soft mass, it indicates a buttocks. Okay, so this is a lateral palpation. In lateral palpation what you are doing, so you are palpating whether if you during the palpation, if you get a irregular mass, it indicates the shoulders. If it is a continuous mass, it indicates the spine. Okay, so if it is a soft mass, it indicates the buttocks. Okay, so this is the pelvic palpation. So these both are the pelvic palpation. In pelvic palpation, what is happening in pelvic palpation, you are seeing for the whether the baby is engaged or not. Okay, so that you are seeing in the pelvic palpation. Okay, so next one is auscultation. In auscultation, the Pinard's fetal stethoscope. So this is the Pinard's fetal stethoscope. This is to locate the fetal heart rate. Okay, so this stethoscope is used to locate the fetal heart rate. So the ear must be in close firm contact with the stethoscope, but the hand should not touch it while listening. Okay, so apart from the Pinard's fetal stethoscope, this is the Doppler fetal detector. So this is also used to detect the fetal heart rate of the baby. Okay, so till now we have seen about the psychological adaptation and the maternal assessment. Okay, so in physiological adaptation, earlier we have seen about the physiological changes during the pregnancy, so that comes under physiological adaptation. Okay, so you here you can write that matter under this physiological adaptation. Okay girls, if you have any doubt, you just call me and clear your doubts. Thank you.